Hey there, Julia here. Today we're just going to get right into it. I have inked up new pens for April. I did kind of a big pen purge since I had lots of dupes inked up. I inked up some additional flex pens and just a few other pens for my local pen and planner meetup. But I just wanted to start fresh for April, though I did really enjoy my March currently inked. Lots of lush greens, Birmingham Pen Company Tiger's Eye, so good. I enjoyed March so much. So let's get started with April. The first pen that I have inked up, I showed you not too long ago in my new pens, my recent acquisition video, and it is the Esterbrook SD in the re-released Blue Moon colorway. And I showed you on that video too just how pretty this pen body is, and I love that we have the punchy blues, the gray lavenders, which I really love those inks, and even like blue blacks would look great in here. So this time around I went for the punchy blue. One of my favorite blue inks currently is Robert Oster Fire and Ice, which punchy blue ink with a nice red sheen. I'm sure you guys know I have my pipette with me, mini plastic spoon, water, pens and inks. Okay, so in here I actually have installed the Perspective grind by Gina Salarino at Custom Nib Studio. And this grind is really cool because it's similar to an architect grind where your downstrokes are thin, your cross strokes are thick, as you'll see here, but it's a little more forgiving and your line width does change depending on the angle that you hold your pen. I say uptight writing, this is my lazy writing. We're gonna be good, use a blotter paper. I just really love how punchy but complex this blue looks, and the red sheen is perfect, I think. Like, not too much, but you can definitely see that it's there. The next pen I have inked up was a Christmas gift, and this is the first time that I'm inking it up. Super excited. This is the Sailor Junior Prophet Retro in the High Side Pop colorway. This one also came with like a pinkish type ink. I love the demonstrator body there with the little screw thing for the piston being yellow. I think is a really fun touch. This is a Sailor steel nib, so that makes this pen pretty affordable. I think it's a good budget pen buy. I'll of course leave links for you down below, but I have this inked up with another Robert Oster ink. This one is Robert Oster Sydney Lavender, which I got in an ink swap with Kristen. And as the name suggests, it is a gorgeous, I would say like dark lavender. I don't know if I was naming it if I would have included lavender in the name, but it is a dark lavender. I don't know, I think of lavender like kind of like my nails, like this color, which is close to my nails, but that just may be me. Let me know, what do you consider lavender? And is this it? This does have a medium fine nib on it, which I think is perfection. I will say that I feel like I like this nib more than I remember liking another like gold Sailor medium fine nib. So that was interesting. Definitely a darker match here, but I wanted the ink to be legible. And I did have a few matches that were closer to this color, but I was unsure if I would actually like it for writing. So I just said, you know what? I know this darker purple will do, and I really do love it, especially in writing. So I just went with that. The next pen that we are inking up is another Sailor. This is the Sailor 1911 Large, or you'll see 1911L when you're searching for these, but this is the Cthulhu colorway, which is a gold spot exclusive. Really love the super subtle sparkly grip section here, along with both finials having that same detail, and it has dark, this kind of like charcoal hardware. So I just think it's really dark, really moody, but a little bit of fun with the transparent sections with the glitter. Really cool. Love a teal. And this is the first time that I'm inking the pen with the intended ink. So I have it inked up with Wearing Gold Call of the Cthulhu, which is a teal ink with a little bit of a red sheen. This is also an ink that I said that I wanted to ink up in 2025, so we can check this one off the list. So yeah, it does have a medium nib, has that classic Sailor feedback, and this pen and ink combination is really good. It's very wet and everything is flowing really nicely. See, to me, it doesn't really look like the most spot-on match, but I do think, especially with the writing, it looks a little closer. Okay, next up is a pen that is considered a beginner pen, but that's totally fine. I love to use my beginner pens in rotation as well. This is the Pilot Metropolitan in the Silver Dots colorway. And this one actually is really fun because I think it is hard to find this particular nib these days, and I didn't know when I grabbed this. I just wanted to try something a little fun, a little different at the time. I was still a definite beginner, but kind of dipping toes a little bit more. This is the CM nib, maybe also called the calligraphy nib. I'm not sure, but it does say CM on the nib, but it's basically a tighter stub. I want to say it's like a 1.0 stub. I remember having just platinum carbon black in here and really enjoying it. I did spice it up a little bit this time around. That was forever ago whenever I initially inked this with carbon black, but I went with Colorverse White Sands. One, because this ink is a little light. It's a very strange color, you'll see. But I just wanted to try something a little different and see if I could pull out a little more legibility with this in that particular nib. Plus, White Sands is local to me here in New Mexico. I actually just went earlier this week, but very special place to me. I got my engagement photos there. Anytime a friend happens to be visiting New Mexico or driving through, it's someplace that I always enjoy going with people. It always looks like you're on a different planet when you're out there at White Sands. And fun fact, it actually is not made up of sand, but instead gypsum. So you can definitely see here the difference between the downstrokes, which are thicker, and the cross strokes, which are thinner. And with most stubs, even the monoline grind, when you're writing with it, you kind of want to keep this same angle as you're writing, as opposed to kind of turning things to the side and being a little more expressive. I think that's where a lot of mixed feelings about stubs come from, is just not keeping that kind of consistent angle. This is like right on the edge for me as far as legibility and shading. I don't love super high contrast shading. So I think this is my, at least on this paper right now, this is like the line. Anything lighter than this, anything with more contrast on the shading, like, no thank you. But I think this will be fun to play around with this month. The next one is another beginner-friendly pen. This is the Lamy Safari in the cream colorway, which I think was the like exclusive of the year, the pen of the year, whatever, in 2023. It may be 2022, but things are getting blurry now. So I really like this one. It's an all matte body. The clip matches, everything is just nice and cohesive. I do have a black nib on this one because I enjoy the coated Lamy nibs more. And I actually meant to put the cursive nib on here, but we'll roll with the fine this month. That's totally good. I have this inked up with another sample from Kristen. This one is called Troublemakers Butterfly Dream. And it does have some really pretty like iridescent shimmer in there, like a blue to green to purple shimmer. Ooh, maybe some pink in there too. But I did not pick up much, if any, shimmer when I filled my Lamy. So you may not see the shimmer in the writing, but I want to get it in the swatch. I really dig this color. It is like a dark olive type of green, and those are typically my favorite types of green in general. Ooh, look at that shimmer. And I think you can see that the grip really doesn't bother me, because the like triangular molded grip section is actually how I hold my pen, I think. So it doesn't bother me as I know it does for others. Gorgeous. The next one is another Lamy. It's another neutral pen. I had fun this month picking out pens and inks, and I feel like this time I went inks first and ended up with a few more neutral pens that I could just put anything in and have it match. But it's been a while since I've inked up my Lamy 2000 in the black colorway, and I just really wanted to do that this month. I feel like the Lamy 2000 is a classic and a crowd favorite. I have this inked up with Diamine Forest Gateau, which was or is a scented ink from the 2024 Inkvent calendar. Traditionally, Diamine scented inks, they feather, me no likey. So I was very pleased that this one did not feather for whatever reason. I will say that at the time of the Inkvent coming out, I did like the smell of this, but upon further smelling, I don't like it. It smells like cherry cough syrup or something. Luckily, I'm not just throwing my nose down on some paper. I'm not in here smelling inks and smelling my task list, and it's not super strong. So I think we will survive. Went a little overboard. I'm sorry. Look at this. Wow. Seems like I have some ink in my cap that I need to clean out, but happens. This does have a fine nib as well. Okay, the next pen I've been just itching to get back into for quite a while, and this month was finally the month. It is the TWSBI Eco in the indigo and bronze colorway, and this one has the 1.1 stub nib, and again with the coated nibs. I think I like the TWSBI coated stub even more than the usual TWSBI stub. I have so much ink splatter on my hands. But yeah, I was very excited to get this inked up again. I love this gorgeous indigo, dark blue and bronze combination. And I have this inked up with a Ferris Wheel Press ink that I think is such a good match. This is Ferris Wheel Press Bluebell brush strokes. And as far as I can remember, this does have a little bit of sheen on certain papers, but it's very subtle. So I would say, if you made me answer, that it is a standard ink. Love it. And again, here you saw, hopefully, that I was keeping my pen like this as I was writing, opposed to this. The next pen, I actually cannot remember the last time that I had it inked, and I didn't go and look, but I know it's been a while. This is the Leonardo Momento Zero in the colorway Euphoria, which is a shop exclusive, and it was super cool to pick this out at the shop in Florence, Italy. During me and my husband's honeymoon, they had just gotten these in, and so I got to look at the whole tray of all the different resins, all the different, swirls and the different color distributions, and pick the one that I wanted. This one happens to be number 13 out of, does it say on here? I want to say 200. 13 out of 200. No, even less. 13 out of 43 it says. So with this, I wanted to get one that had a lot of gold, goldish orange, yellow in it, just because at that point I did not have pens that had that yellow gold color in it. I feel like I still don't. So this one is still special in that way. And I just love all the colors that would match here. So of course you have your golds and oranges, but you also have nice purpley magenta colors, blue, greens even, and teals. So I really enjoy this body. I do have an extra fine nib installed in it, and this nib was tuned up by Annabelle while she was at Apple Boom. So this extra fine nib is a lovely writer. It flows so well. There's no scratchiness, no feedback, none of that. It's so good. But I have this inked up with another Robert Oster ink. This is Robert Oster and the Coffee Monsters Co. Day to Night. I got this in an ink swap with two pen friends, Emily and my pen friend in real life friend, Robin. And I think Robin's sample had a little bit of a spill. And so whenever I did an ink swap with Emily, I requested this ink just so I can have a nice, healthy sample of it. So with their powers combined, I have a very lovely sample of this ink. Love it. I love this ink. The color of it is really fun. And there is a match in here somewhere, probably along these lines. But either way, I think a fun little combination there. All right, let's let them dry up. Okay, we are mostly dry here, and I wanted to show you the ink palette on Tomoe River paper as well, just to, pick up on any major differences, which I don't think that there are many. They look pretty similar side by side. Maybe the Butterfly Dream. No, it's just that this has more shimmer. Yeah, pretty similar across these two papers. And then I also, just because last month was so fascinating to see me basically pick the same palette 2 years in a row, but let's look at April from last year. Definitely picked up a little bit of a lighter color here in Ceramic Kiln, which I'm pretty sure I uninked this in the Waterman Corinne then. Yeah, overall this feels, it's a little lighter. It's a little more traditional spring, but I really love how these look together, and I feel like I'm going to have a very fun time with the pen and ink pairings this month. But taking a closer look here, we have the Esterbrook Esty in the Blue Moon colorway inked up with Robert Oster Fire and Ice. This one has a really fun perspective nib grind on it. We have the Sailor Junior Prophet Retro, And this is inked up with Robert Oster Sydney Lavender. We have Sailor 1911L in the Cthulhu colorway with a medium nib, inked up with Waringal Call of the Cthulhu. Both gold spot exclusives. We have the Pilot Metropolitan with the silver dots design, inked up with Colorverse White Sands. This one also has a very fun tight stub calligraphy nib. Over on this side, we have the Lamy Safari in the cream colorway, inked up with this very cool Troublemaker Butterfly Dream. The Lamy 2000 in the black with a fine nib, inked up with Diamine Forest Gateau. The TWSBI Eco in indigo and bronze with the 1.1 stub, inked up with Ferris Wheel Press Bluebell brushstrokes. Isn't that just like a nearly like perfect match? And then finally, the Leonardo Memento Zero in the Euphoria colorway with an extra fine nib. And this is inked up with Robert Oster and the Coffee Monsters Co. collaboration called Day to Night. You can definitely see like where it matches as I turn this. Okay, another currently inked month in the ink journal books. I want to know what you've inked up for April and just something that you love, something that you've been loving using, whether it just be a pen or if it's a specific pen and ink combination. What are you loving? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for more pen and ink and stationery and journaling fun. Galen from Fountain Pendulum and I will be doing another Saturday night deep dive on nibs, part 2, coming up soon. I think the date is either April 12th or 13th, whichever one of those days is a Saturday, but make sure you're subscribed so you know. Like this video if you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see what other pens I've acquired this year so far, this was one of them. I think this is the only one. Yes, this is the only new pen that was included in the lineup this time around. If you want to see what my recent acquisitions are, I will leave that for you right here to check out next. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.